Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Marshall here, and this time I've got in a 2 versus 2 for you that was submitted to me quite a while ago. I've been a little busy. I believe this was submitted to me prior to the recent 2 versus 2 tournament. And this particular one we've got in Team White, Panda Corgi against Billthebluebot. And in Team Orange, we've got Burntcustard and someone else. And I've no idea who the someone else is, because it's not listed there for some reason. Unless it is and someone just used some characters or something. I don't know. But Burntcustard is with someone else. And we're playing on this Lotho Minor 1v1. Which is a metal planet. Effectively single-sided. There's stuff on the back there to prevent a whole planet's worth being used. Lots of nice grouped metal expansions to expand to in logical progressions towards your opponent, with a nice set of 6 here right in the middle, and off to the side we've got a little cubby of 4 here, which is a nice little defensive point if players want to get there. That being said, Grenadiers can still shoot over it. Now let's put our pictures in pictures on either side here so that you can see the builds. There we go. A little bit something like that. Not that I'm OCD. But yeah, the North spawn here. We've got Corgi and Bill. Going bots vehicles with their respective fabs going into an energy, then a following factory. By the looks of things, for Bill, I think this is Corgi. Or is this one Bill? I don't know. One of them going for the second factory, the other going for a bit more power before an air factory. Botfab assisting out the second before running off to join his mates. Meanwhile down here we've got a pretty standard bots in each place, air in each place for Burntcustard and whoever was in Burntcustard. It'll probably be in the title. Whoever Burntcustard is supposed to be with when I eventually upload this to YouTube. Whenever that may be. Hopefully today, the same day that I'm recording it, but who knows. Both expanding in the same direction here. We've got a nice platform of 4 mechs, which is going to be easily locked down by turret placements there. Possibly want to expand down to the 3 in the corner again, and then forward it with a turret because it's leading onwards towards a choke. A few pings there from Orange saying, "Oi, you missed that mechs, my friend," and they have indeed. But they are still ahead of White, and that's because they've got 4 fabs expanding to the triple there. Meanwhile on the White, they've gone for the double first before the trip. But they've got defensive Icarus. All Orange need to do is wander forward, and that Icarus will be toast, as it were. But we've got a few strikers out for White now as well. Going to be guarding these expanding fabs, pushing down the lanes. I say guarding, not doing a very good job of it here. Baiting Orange away from the fab a little bit and giving it advanced warning so that it can run away and be backed up by its other strikers there. Here we go with a defensive Icarus. You can see the powers of those, taking out a few offensive units there. And that's sort of happening in a few locations around the map here. Team Orange, though, going more for the center than they are the edges. I think they have their eyes on the 6, as opposed to the edges, which is where White have their current focus. And again, still using those Icarus to defend the hemispheres. Pretty nice going, pretty nice going. Can't argue with that. Gradually pushing forward, putting up turret defenses, and probably follow those up with factories later on. In order to reduce the amount of space and time to traverse the planet, especially if you're going for the vehicle factories there. There you go though, Bumblebee trying to get a Faber kill here. Hasn't got a friend to back him up, hasn't got any anti-air support to back him up, so the least he can do is try and do a little bit of micro to take a bit of the APM away. But that fails. And they get 2. Team Orange getting 2 fab kills there. They'll be pretty happy with that. Team White not so enamoured. We're starting to T2 bots. White going for a later T2 option. We have got a number of P-gens here to support the air factory. I thought that was possibly in advance of a T2 factory. Possibly not. But they are a few factories behind. They need to catch up to that before going for the T2, I feel. Their economy can probably handle going T2, to be fair. They've got to deal with the raiding first. Team Orange doing less raiding, though, being very defensive, other than the bumblebees there. Of course, Burntcustard, back when he used to play way back when, was very much an air player. Not so far. Battle lines are being drawn. Again, there's the forward T2 vehicles, not T2, just regular. And the T2 bots now coming up from Team White. T2 bots, about the same amount done for Team Orange here. Oh, I don't see hotbars in the pick. Oh. Alrighty then. But it's neck and neck, more or less. Lots of spinners here for Orange, though, and that's going to negate White's air. In they come, trying for it. Tries to get the spinner kill. A few come up behind, completely negating that. And sending it running with its tail between its legs back to the north. In other news, Orange still building up their air. How many air factories have we got for each team here? 1, 2, 3 for Orange. 4 for White. So White should, in theory, take the air game in the not too distant once they've caught up on the Hummingbird count there. Roughly, they've done so. We're at what, 26 against 20. So yeah, more or less getting there to equalise that. Though they just don't want to keep flying over the anti-air. Otherwise, they'll keep getting chinks in that. Team Orange, though, probably going to want another air factory. Still haven't built that last mechs, unless there was maybe an issue with it. I don't know. White. Has White done to all of them now? Yes, they have. A little bit of an air trade there. Fabber on the floor. Orange going in, pushing White back a little bit, flying over the spinners. Don't want to do that. White could still come back with that bomber. Yeah, they're just sat over spinners. Sat over spinners. Not a great move there for them. These two Fabs, though, can get up this factory and then swoop into the 4 to claim it. Now that White is on the run on this side. Orange also pushing in on the mid. White standing on the outside, don't necessarily want to push into that just yet, and we've got all of these turrets coming up, which is going to prevent them from doing so. Loads of anti-air there. Not a lot of anti-ground though, so if this actually gets pushed, it's not going to last for a huge amount of time. Finally starting to back it up with a bit of T2 there and a few Infernos. Maybe that'll allow them to push this, but ideally you'd want Grenadiers to push that. They'll be able to stand outside of the range of these guys and fire over the top. They said they've got the Infernos in front now, which is going to soak up the damage, push in against the walls, maybe break down a couple of them to allow the snipers in. Not looking like it. That's not a microed army if ever there was one. These docks are being microed, but these tanks are just being left to die here. It's like you make a gap in the wall and the tanks and the sniper bots, arguably the most important bit of this army, was not microed, and it was all picked off by 2 turrets that didn't even get killed. I think White were microing that to repair things, and they did get another emergency wall up there as well, so good job from them. Income bombers here, loads of anti-ground turrets, 0 Galata though. A little bit of an oversight there, I think, Team Orange. Good place for a radar though. Look at the coverage of that. I'll probably want to replace that once these bombers have finished with it. here. Looks to be pushing in a little bit. Again, I feel like there could have been a bit of a better scouting to be able to see that that was a thing, rather than pushing headstrong into it. Don't forget, you can always pull back, especially when you see something like that, where you've got 2 turrets behind some walls. Might be wise to sometimes do that, you know. So it looks like each team now have cemented their battle lines. White still have a few bits to pick up here, but Orange have managed to encroach across the middle here and are starting to support that with pelters. Not great, however, that being said, White have done so on the other side, so very much a tit for tat here. We're going for our second T2 factories yet. Yes, T2 air for White. And we've got T2 vehicles up and running already for Team Orange. That's going to be quite a punch when pushing through on the mid. Probably want some shellers in that mix to fire over the top of some of these metal structures, so that you can push up from the non-metal, non-pressured side and fire over it with a nice arc there. T2 air could be interesting though, because while this whole backside is non-passable for ground units, air can still fly over this. So if you go for air sniping cheese with some worms or hornets, you can get a couple of quick commander kills without your opponent really being aware of what's going on. A bit of an underhand tactic given the play zone, but it's valid. Still, build that mech, mate, and there's the fab going to do it. Finally, White finishing their base. It's like that last piece of the jigsaw, going to be very, very satisfying to put that in. Here we go. Look how much White has defended this single approach here, and continuing to do so. Does White even know about the T2 vehicles? White know nothing about Orange's base here. Absolutely nothing. They've only got T1 radar, so they haven't even got advanced radar for general army coverage and mobility. They can only see roughly what's in what place. This is an interesting push here, though. Orange rather, can see it. They are fully aware. They're going to get raided a little bit here. They now have the high ground, which is good for Team White. Orange still able to push in a little bit here, but maybe you want to catch them on the way down. Do White want to push in here, or do they want to go back? I think, I don't know, from an all-seeing perspective, they should probably go back. Kite a little bit, because these docks here would be perfect fodder to feed into all of this. But coming down like this is really nice, because it creates this sort of concave by default, almost. And that's been a really good trade for Team White there, I feel. Loads of vehicles lost there for, well, a few T2, actually, that being said. A few T2 were lost there. And now the levelers are there to support. Want to be careful about that. Orange now saying, oi, you push into me, I'm going to push into you. Just a little heads up that the worms are being built by Team White there. 3 worms plus an angel, by the way, is enough to kill a commander outright. Angels, of course, repair air and auto-reclaim ground wreckage as they fly over. So they pay for themselves very, very quickly, but are very underutilised in the game. Problem is, worms and angels are really quite expensive, so take a long time to make. They're very potent if you get to the late game or a stalemate of some description like this. So here we go, Kestrels are going to be revealed. Orange is going to be aware that T2 air is in play. And there it is. Maybe not quite, but when it does get revealed, they will be aware of it. Haven't done T2 air of their own. It's running on 6 air factories now. Seeing this massive long line of units there, deciding to pull back their vehicles as they see it, rather than push in and lose. Let's hold them for another time, maybe see if we can get somewhere else. Again, I'm surprised at the lack of grenadiers being used here by Team Orange, because it would be great. There's loads of air, and they see the T2 air, and they saw worms being produced. That's big. Team Orange getting the crucial intel. I reckon Galata's going to start flying up. Yep, ping to ping. We need Galata here, here, here. They know of the plan. Team White maybe want to mix things up here. They've got 3 worms already. 4th now coming out. We need an angel, boys. Orange, though, using the confusion to expand. They managed to see the incursion from White here coming down the middle. They've got their radar coverage up and working. Both teams doing fine for power, both, however, struggling for metal. They need to start expanding to T2 all over the shop. The air game again. Orange's air in a nice line there. Bit of vision. Don't want to get picked off by a blob though. Here we go. Orange coming round the back. Want to make sure that nothing's round here. Not a great push there from Orange. Got completely repulsed. Uh-oh. There's the scout. Sees more worms. Almost takes one. Does take one out and runs away again. Gonna lose all the air there. T2 air now for Orange in response. More ping saying, "Oi! Deal with this." And for some reason I don't have notifications in this replay. Not a problem. Not a problem. White's done a good job though in the meantime of pushing out this middle, forced Orange out of the 6 and managed to link up with their expansion over here where they are starting to produce grenadiers. Good moves from them. They can even push up to here now, I reckon. Start harassing that and this army here. Very risky though because of that army. I feel like these players now should be looking for T2 radar at the very least. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Here comes a snipe attempt. They see Galata there and a load of spinners. They don't want to push in on that. Need to make a different approach vector. Do a little bit of scouting first, and maybe that's what they say is going to start separating to do, or are they going to try and do it another way? Nope, they're going to raid metal instead. Very good choice from them. That's going to force Orange to either respond or accept. So Orange, for the most part, has accepted. They can always just re-expand later. It's not the biggest issue for them. White just need to keep those worms alive. Try and find an approach vector. I mean, they've got one that is feasible. They just need to plan it right. Plan the unit movements right, and they can get it done. Orange now, they're starting to pile in with the Phoenix. They don't want to give those worms the opportunity. Team White still without angels. Packing on the Kestrels now. Orange again pushing the Pelter Fort, which is now adding a Helter-Skelter. A Hulkins to the mix that does have range of both central expansions there for Orange. That's a big thing. As is that bombing run there. Entire army disappeared. Orange's air is in the wrong place. It did get vision on this army, but it did nothing to support all of this mechs and that entire army over there. Income now. Into the middle. Orange sees the problem. They've only got a few Galata to deal with this, and it's not near those forward pelters. Orange is there now. In it comes. Picks off a few latent Kestrels. It picks off most of the Kestrels. A few worms getting a bit of damage there. 1 worm down. 2 down. 3. All worms are down. That was a big air trade there for Orange. Really big wins there. Meanwhile, White now pushing in on the other side. Loads of vehicles from Orange to defend, and sniper bots being microed back towards the back of the army so they don't get taken out by the levelers. Very well done there. Still have to keep retreating though. White's gillies are still there and pushing. White have come out the better in that engagement. Let's select the gillies. You can see the numbers and the positions there. Orange falling back. The unit counts there in terms of the army, comparable. Orange though, a lot of it is in the air. Not a lot of air to ground in there though, if any at all. We've got, what, 1 Bumblebee. 1 Bumblebee total, and White is pushing in. We're getting a Teleporter now for white. Going to insta-reinforce this position. If they can push forward here and pressure this 3, that's really going to put orange on the back foot there. Orange now even threatened with their T2 mechs. This is big news for white here, especially because they're so far behind in the metal game right now. This is a really big push for them. They can secure this 6 and expand to it. That's going to be a really big win there. They don't want to push in any further at this moment until they've got the numbers to do so. I feel like they have now, and yep, here we go. The push resumes. Don't bite off more than you can chew until your jaw has rested, and here we go. No more lockjaw for Team White. In we go. More gillies, more levelers, and a few fabs coming through the mix as well. Probably a miss micro there. There we go. Moving them back to get that radar up. Don't necessarily want to push in before this radar gets up though, because what can Team White actually see here? They can't see anything in which to support these gillies. Team White have the energy for the radar when it comes up. Watch the pips appear. Boop. There we go. They see the army. Are they going to engage? Or are they going to cycle round? Looks like they're going to cycle round. Kill off the T2 mechs and maybe the T2 vehicle factory as well. If they can do that, that will have been a good run. Yep, that T2 factory is toast. That has been a good run for them. They need to sort out their economy issues now, though. Oh, look at this. Come back up in the rear of this expansion. Take out this entire power line and T2 mechs. Oh, that would be juicy. Team White here with all of the wins, knocking orange down a few pegs here. Absolute carnage. Absolutely. Orange can only give chase from the main base here. They've got nothing on the forward other than these pelters now firing backwards towards home turf, because White have just come in and threaded that needle, as it were. Round they go, the army finally going down, but what a value army that was. An incredible value army. Has Orange done anything even remotely like that to punish White for what they've done? Doesn't look like it. Orange, even with the air game. What's happened to their air? They had a bit more than that. Still building it up gradually, going for horseflies though. They don't want that to go unpunished. They see the rebellions in the outer colonies and they're going to bring them back in check. With fire and fury, but yet another army from White comes in from that teleporter. Does White even know about the teleporter? Orange rather. Yes, it does, but Orange hasn't managed to go in and kill that off. If they did that, that would give them a bit of a respite. This army, though, not enough to push into the base, but certainly enough to swing west and take out yet more expansion. Here, a few bumblebees going in. Can they take out the fabricator? No, they can't. But the army certainly will. The ghillie there, almost in range, and oh, the other one was in range. Never mind. Down it goes. And again, the army from Orange not even bothering to give chase here, and that's a good decision. It doesn't have the ability to trade well here. 2 ghillies against what would appear to be 3-4 in there. Don't want to necessarily go in, but here we go. White closing the gap. Orange closing the gap. If Orange can close out this gap completely, they do have the greater leveler numbers to completely counter this. Will it work for them? Down go the ghillies. Down go the levelers. Orange, oh, it's looking like an equal trade. White coming out on top with slightly superior numbers. Another teleporter coming up for White there. A few small docks doing a raid there. If not, why not? Keep going for it. Team Orange though now. Here's the punishment. We've got a little push into the base there, down on the south. We've got a little bit coming in on the north though. Watch those watch those horseflies do their stuff in the picture-in-picture there. Nice work. Team Orange here, not pushing in. Team White giving chase. Team Orange now cycling west. Going to take out this central expansion. Looks like a complete central reset for both teams here. The last horsefly just about survives. Still in the base there. White trading air. Knocking orange down a peg. More pings from orange saying, take out that teleporter. The army swings south. White desperately getting a last few ditch units through. We've got nuclear missile launchers coming up now as well for Team Orange. We've got orbital for Team White. Getting the radar vision. Both teams doing fine for power here. This is absolutely absurd, this game. No wonder this one was recommended to me. This is absolutely non-stop, high-octane stuff. Orange's army count, though, dwindling a little bit. Look at that. 100 to 200. White have a lot in the air, of course. Orange less so now. They have been brought down a peg. White there with the orbital, though. They're going to be able to see stuff. And starting on the Ares. Can Orange respond to this? Looks like we've got a nuclear missile on the launcher. Spaghetti army into a blob. Team Orange losing unnecessarily there. White coming in over the base. Can they take out the two T2 Fabs there? One still survives. The other as well. Just about surviving against those Kestrels. Down go the Kestrels. 2 left. And here we go. Up with the flak. No more fly passes from this air army. And that Orange still reeling from that White army that pushed through not long ago. Still just about replenishing their eco. They're getting up on the eco now, but they need to start getting more production because they're really struggling for army right here. White, though, with the orbital vision. This is really good jobs from them. I reckon, though, that the T2 radar might just be better placed for this. I don't know. So it gives them vision and pips. So actually, no, I take that back. Because the T2 radar doesn't give you vision, it just gives you pips. It's giving Team White enough of an advance notice here to know what's going on. Another advanced fab loss fallen there. Orange, though, finally pushing out on the middle. Levelers coming in. Absolutely demolishing those walls. Spinners down. Gillies down. Levelers caught out in the open there. Orange's air not sufficient enough to go in. Team White now with another army on the west on the approach and an incursion round the back here. Is this it for Team Orange? It looks like it could be. They're trying to expand out on the east. They've got the eco. They just don't have the production capability here. Last ditch efforts will be made. A Holkin's going up. Not the wisest of choices for the fact that there's an army on your doorstep, my friends. Probably want some point defense instead. Or maybe better yet, just some more factories. In they come now. Commanders currently safely behind the T2 air factory. But they won't be too safe for very much longer as the White army comes in now. And there's the GGs from them. What a well-fought game there. White slipping ahead. That single push from White, though, that just went through the entirety of Orange's back. Through the soft underbelly and circled back up. Just did so much damage. I think we should have a look at it again, honestly, because it was just so good. Here we go. Through the middle. Can I see it in fast speed, or is my mod stopping that? It seems to be stopping that. I think maybe Linger is stopping that from happening. But in it comes. Round we move. Loads of T2 mechs stalling the orange build for too long. Taking out an additional factory there. Coming up the back. More T2 mechs down. T2 power down. And then an army trade on top of all of that. Look at the numbers from that. Orange down to 150. Then they must have lost an air trade which prevented their air dominance. Let's watch the air. Where does it disappear? Doing fine there. Doing fine still. Here it looks like they lost it. Look. Flying it into a load of Phoenix. That's where they lost the air game, and they never got it back from there. That was their ability to raid and weaken attacking forces, and they never got it back. This force here almost did a good job. It just didn't quite get any proper raiding in. They managed to stem the flow here, but by then it was perhaps too late in terms of the unit counts. Look, right there, 200. Orange 130. And I do believe that's probably it for about this game, folks. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I've been Marshall, and have a good one.